Hi guys, welcome to another Build in Public update. This time weeks 34, 35. Let's jump right into it. Swiftbrief, our SEO brief generator. We have continued to make progress on V2, which will introduce a roadmap that has both features for prioritization, but also for execution. So giving your brief and topic structure, a more actionable approach of creating these briefs, and then just kind of helping you target the right things first, or the most important briefs first, rather than trying everything, because within every seed topic that you will want to cover, there will be 80-20 winners and losers in terms of how much traffic can you capture, but how hard will it be to actually rank. So depending on your own authority, it will be much easier or harder, depending on if your authority is high or low, to actually rank for certain keywords. Even though you might produce great content, it might be just out of reach to rank first page. And so this really gives you a good overview of how much traffic there is potentially to gain based on the volume and the traffic that the lowest DR on page 1 pulls in, for example, and how high that DR is. So it's like 58. And then the authority that's needed based on the authority of the mark, and then obviously the average DR across the first page, so top 10 SERP, and also the keyword difficulty, right? So this gives you a good overview of which things you should tackle based on your own, obviously, DR, and then kind of what traffic you're after. And yeah, that's that. And I will also include a new keyword selection step within the brief process, which gives you a lot more control over which branch keywords go into the final outline, and a new outline brief prompt. But we will launch this part in the keyword selection first. Now it's in internal testing. So our 3 marketing partners and stakeholders, they test it. And then once they're happy with it, we'll roll it out to a select number of early customers. That will, be the first kind of external feedback we're getting on it. And then once those guys are happy, we'll roll it out for everyone. That's kind of like how we're gonna approach the rollout. And here you can see, I'll put myself in the middle. So you can see a screenshot of someone that bought top-up credits. So after you're run out of credits for your plan, which this person is on the agency plan that costs $99. So they bought another 25,000 credits after running out of, I think, 90 briefs for the month. So they're doing a lot of volume, and they are willing to spend another $100 to continue to use the product in the same month, which I think is a good point of validation for us, as we're still very early. We do pay attention to these things, and we do think that they are, just good sign of that we're doing something right. Even though churn, and I've reported that on Twitter, I think churn has been quite brutal after the Proton launch. So there is still something to be said around the quality of the output and the consistency of the output, which is sometimes hard to control with things like GPT and all the data that we're adding, and that it's not super transparent. And that's also why we're doing these changes with the V2, right, that you can see here. It's a lot around like transparency and trust to show that we're much more than just some GPT wrapper. We're actually doing the work in the background and the research and the things necessary to produce a good outline or a good brief. All right. So for Finlay, our finance tool for integrated financial planning, we have done more updates to the performance. The more we test it internally with our marketing partners, the more we see that it doesn't scale as well as it needs to if we add more data, or if we just add more kind of layers to have separate planning data. So there's a lot of tweaks that need to be done to make sure that it works in a day-to-day context. And we iron out the last kind of kinks when it comes to the calculation, so the integrated calculation. which is great. That has been a major pain in the ass for a while, so we're making good progress here. We've done some more, UI updates, making it easier to see um, when something is just a function that shows a compound of different other positions or bank accounts or accounts we call it in the app. So just makes it much nicer to look at. Also, not have these things break over. Some more like UI tweaks. But yeah, making good progress here. Next steps will be actually showing it to. We have letters of intents that we collected before we started working on this. But next step will be to actually show this to real potential customers. And why we haven't done that until now is because there is existing competition that offers a lot of the things that we have here, right? So it's not necessarily something we need to test that people will want to use this. It's more on like, can we solve this in an adequate way where people are willing to pick this over the competitor or pick this over the Excel file that they might have, right? So I think we had to build the table stakes first before it makes sense to show to someone, because they'll look at it and say like, yeah, this looks like any other tool out there, right? So the risk isn't necessarily in the product itself, and if that's needed, but it's more in like, can we make a good tool that's performant and that is either better for a certain use case, or it is just easier to set up or easier to use for the user and less error prone than Excel. So that will be something we need to validate now that we have something that we can test, and it's not fully functional. Like, it calculates, but it's not like we've built all the features that will be in it eventually, and we're doing like a middle ground between testing a super scrappy version and testing like Mercedes or whatever at the end. All right, Maid of Speeches, or a Maid of Honor speech generator that helps Maid of Honors write great speeches. We have soft launched at the beginning of this month to Jen's audience and to some, just getting organic traffic and getting in some Google ads to see what works and what doesn't. And so far we've made almost $500. It's not as much as I expected, but I think expecting something is never a good way to start. So we're still, ironing out details, getting conversion rates up, doing the 80-20 work. So now we're down to the 20% after everything is done. And we also will launch on Product Hunt very soon. And I'll, talk about that in the next update. But I think for now, it's great to see that people are willing to pay. And now it's just finding a scalable channel. And obviously exploring a couple, organic, we'll explore affiliates. I think for this product, it will be key to not just find the right people, which are Maid of Honors, but also find them at the right time. So right before a wedding, or let's say 1 or 2 months before a wedding, basically when you will sit down to think about writing a speech and you'll actually write a speech. And I think that will be different for everyone, but it will boil down to the targeting and partnering with companies where these people congregate organically. Let's say a company where you can buy wedding dresses or Maid of Honor dresses or rent them or whatever, right? So I think we'll have to do a lot more legwork here to get these affiliate partners on board. But I know that Jen, our marketing partner, has already started with this. So this will definitely be a very interesting thing to explore. And it's great that we have a domain to build on that is already quite authoritative. So in terms of SEO, we're getting 150 clicks per month organically with a new page that just launched. So that's great. And her domain, the whole domain obviously gets around 10 to 15K organic. And a lot of the purchases that you're seeing here, they actually did come through organic traffic, because there's one keyword that is transactional nature. So people are actually looking to generate a speech, and we're perfect match for what they're trying to solve. And so if the output is great and we can get more people to experience the product, well, I think we're on a good way to build up a sustainable stream that will be low maintenance and just depend on how far we can build it up and scale it. All right, that's it. A bit longer this time, but I think there was a lot of interesting context here, at least from my experience or from my point of view. And hope you liked it. And yeah, feel free to subscribe and like the video. And I'll make more of this content. All right, cheers.